Pete ate, drank, and slept basketball.
He lived for it. It was his life. That's what he was born to do.
He was more fun to watch than anybody I've ever seen in the game. Flopping around with his hair, socks hanging down over his shoes, behind his back, through his legs, spinning, shooting from all different angles. He was just a show.
Pistol felt an obligation. He never wanted the fans to feel like they were ever cheated. He wanted to make sure that he did his thing.
He had an element of genius in his personality with the basketball. But then there was a side to him. He had these big, brown, sad-looking eyes.
He was at the top of the mountain. He heard so much roar of the crowd. But there was a lot of heartache and a lot of tragedy that he lived through.
I don't think Pete was ever at peace with Pete Maravich. It wasn't easy being Pistol Pete.
Tall, skinny, 6'5" kid. Back then, freshman didn't play on the varsity. His average in his freshman year was in the 40s. The buzz around town was, you better get there early, because you may not get a seat.
They would be like
the worst feeling I've ever had in my life, other than going into that crazy cow palace they had with 10,000 half-drunk Cajuns and knowing you had to hold their hero under feeling, believe me.
Some of his shots were experimental. You never saw these things in practice. He'd just all of a sudden just come up with something. And instead of shooting it, he throws it up against the backboard. He catches it off the backboard, and as they come back, he slips right by and puts it right in for a layup. As he turns to dribble down court, there's a defender right there in a defensive stance, this close. And he turned and he put that ball through that defender's legs, circled him, and kept dribbling. The defender's just...
I don't think he ever shot on balance in his life. He was always falling one way or another. He would shoot leaning shots. And when he got hot, you could forget it. You wasn't not going to stop him.
Well, he's just an excitable boy.
We held him to 17 points in the first half in that ball game. We were really proud of that. Unfortunately, he got 41 in the second half.
Go left. Make him go left. You can't go left. They held him to about 60 points that night, so obviously you could go left.
And you got to remember, that was with no three-point line.
The numbers he would have rung up would have been frightening. Conservatively, you'd have to give him 10, 12 points a game more, which gets him up into 55, 56 points a game, which is absurd.
He made some phenomenal passes. He got the crowd revved up.
At LSU, Pete was the show, the sole support of an average team. He outclassed the competition, although there were times when the competition in the all-white Southeastern Conference wasn't all that challenging. So Maravich did whatever he pleased, and more often than not, what he did defied description. Pete was not shy. With Press's blessing, he took an amazing amount of shots. In his first varsity game, Pistol fired up 50, and only once in his sophomore year did he take less than 20. But in being as much of a showman as he was a player, Pete Maravich brought the LSU basketball program out of the dark ages and into the national spotlight. Coming up, Pete takes Showtime to a higher level and becomes college basketball's all-time leading scorer.
In LSU, everywhere we went on the road, they came to see the Pistol. His gun was always loaded, and he was always firing.
Without the spectators, you don't have any athletics. And what I try to do is just give the spectators $3 or $3.50 a ticket worth of enjoyment.
And then somebody went and told the guy, don't understand. He had just been had by Pistol Pete.
The media just came out of the woodwork to see this guy, to talk and interview. Kids emulated him all over America. The socks.
We picked the socks up in our equipment room at NC State. These socks are like hunting socks, actually. You wore regular basketball.
In his 3 varsity seasons, the boy with the floppy socks not only ruined reputations, he scored more than 50 points in a game 28 times, averaged more than 44 points a game, and broke every scoring record in LSU history. And he didn't stop there. By the time Pistol Pete was through shooting, he had sped past the great Oscar Robertson to become the most prolific scorer in college basketball history.
I think I'm very fortunate to break his record because I followed him ever since I was a young boy, and I always felt he was the greatest.
He was a performer, and he knew he was. He was on stage. He lived for the roar of the crowd. Some people have never heard it. He heard it every night.
You're looking at Pete Maravich. While at LSU, he established a record as the greatest scorer in college history. Here's Pete Maravich coming into the ball game. Maravich intercepted. They had a 2-on-1 break. Maravich, let's see what he'll do. Maravich is hitting 1,000. 1 for 1. That's the guy they came to see. That's Maravich hitting outside. The pressure did not bother the kid on that one. Brings it up. Maravich. Behind the back, how do you do? A little showtime there. Here's a Maravich shot in the lane. It's good.
Boy, he is an offensive machine.
Maravich. Boy, he's got all kinds of moves. What move doesn't this guy have? Maravich with a hook. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Oh, come on, come on. That's ridiculous. Kelly with the rebound. Maravich with an underhanded pass over to Sophie, and Goodrich goes for two. He's an incredible performer.
And the results were historic. His college scoring records, the ones he set with uncommon flair, will likely stand forever, equaled only by his professional career, in which he was chosen as one of the top 50 players in the history of the NBA.
You can be the greatest on the face of the earth. That's something, if you want to do that bad enough. They still talk about the wraparound behind the back pass, and something will happen to say, my God, he looks like Maravich. His legacy will live forever.
He broke the molds. He didn't do it the way people had always been taught. He's like a guy who wins the Nobel Prize for some discovery he made 30 years ago. Well, Pete was that much of a revolutionary for the sport of basketball, but I don't think people realized it at the time.
He added something to the NBA that the NBA was lacking at a time when the game was not very popular.
His life was shortened. He really had a full life.
And there's a legacy there. He crammed 100 years of life in 40 years. And when you look back and you examine those 40 years, there's something there for everybody to benefit from.